Hey, this is Sandy,
And Randy.
and we're here on AT Corner.
Being an athletic trainer comes with ups and downs, and we're here to showcase it all.
Join us as we share our world in sports medicine.
Welcome back to another episode of AT Corner. With NATA right around the corner, we thought it was very fitting to have a story episode on all things conferences.
At first, I was like, are we going to be able to pull this one off?
I know, it's kind of interesting to see if you could get a lot of stories when we talk about conferences, but there are a lot of things that happens at a conference.
Right. So I was thinking at first, I was like, oh, where are we going to go with this? But then I was thinking, well, what is the first thing I think of when I think of conferences? And I just think of networking.
Yeah, great place to network.
Which we have a couple stories on how people network and kind of tips for those. And then we also have different types of presentations. So we're going to go over like lectures, learning labs, rapid fire presentations, poster presentations, timing of lectures, like how to decide which ones you want to go to, or if two are at the same time, what do you do?
Oh, that's tough, especially because NATA has so much content. Like, there's a lot that like, ooh, this one sounds good, but it's at the same time as this cool one.
And NATA is kind of overwhelming.
It is.
Especially the first time you go.
You know what's even more intense? ACSM.
I have not been to that.
That's
one.
like NATA on steroids. There's like so much happening. It's a really cool conference, though.
Do you get BOCCs?
I think so.
Oh, cool.
I went as a student, so I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure you do for ACSM.
We also have some conference must-haves when packing.
Ooh.
And then some best practices that people have taken from attending a conference.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Like, how have they changed their practice?
The whole point of the
Going
conference.
to a conference, right. So we also will be going to a conference next week.
Yes, we will.
So we're going to be headed out to Houston, Texas with Sports Medicine Broadcast. Actually, thank you to Sports Medicine Broadcast. We're going to be co-hosting some interviews for a conference by Memorial Hermann out there called the Sports Medicine Update. So if you are listening to this as it's playing, you still have time, I think, to sign up. There's a virtual option and there's an in-person option. Or we're going to be releasing... I know Jeremy at Sports Medicine Broadcast is going to be releasing some. I'm not sure yet if we're releasing some. We haven't decided yet. But, yeah, lots of good things to come from that.
Yes, hopefully we see you out there. And we're excited to see Jeremy Jackson finally in person.
Finally in person, I know. It's been a couple years.
It has.
So I thought to start this story episode off, we would start with a gem from Jen.
Oh, that's perfect.
You want to read this one?
Yes. I met Ronnie Barnes, the head AT of the New York Giants since 1980, at NATA. He was very gracious and even let me try on his Super Bowl ring. That's pretty neat.
That's really cool.
That's really cool. I also attended a talk by Dr. Andrew Cappuccino. Yep, that's really his name. The orthopedic surgeon who operated on Kevin Everett, a Buffalo Bill who sustained a fracture/dislocation of C3 and C4. I've never been in a room where an MRI is put up and all 700 people in the room gasp at the same time until then. The MRI was messed up.
My gosh.
I know, seriously.
It's kind of interesting because, you know, there are some talks that I think you expect there to be more people.
Yeah.
And then there are some talks that are the opposite.
Well, you can even see like when they're planning like where to put each talk, like certain rooms are game planning. Oh, it's going to be a lot of people. So there's this like giant auditorium and then obviously some are a little bit smaller. Yeah. So I get what you're saying.
Right. I remember going to one of our friends, actually Aaron Knorr, who kind of linked us up.
You kicked this whole thing off, basically.
I know. He was the mutual connection between Randy and I. And he did a talk on cupping. And I remember they had to cut that off because that one was so popular.
Oh, I bet.
I think it's funny that cupping's still popular now.
Yeah, well,
I feel like there's not much to it.
No, but I mean, it's pretty mainstream. A lot of athletes are asking about it. So you're like, okay, I need to dive in on what is this?
True. Well, if you missed that NATA, what was it, NATA? I don't know, FLATA, one of them.
It was a conference.
If you missed that talk, don't worry. We have our cupping episode. I think it was our last episode.
I think it was, yeah.
So check that out. It's also worth some views.
Not the last one, but the one before that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anyone like that made you a little starstruck at a conference?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say the biggest one that comes to mind was when we were students. We met Dr. Sandra Schultz. I think
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think it was the year she got inducted.
Oh, cool.
In the Hall of Fame, because she is a Fullerton alum. Go Titans. And when I was a student, you know, a lot of her research is, you know, into female athletes and ACL injuries, and that was really something that I was interested in. So it was obviously when you're looking at all that research, you see her name. So when we finally met her in person, I was like, whoa, this is cool. So I think that one was a big kind of like, whoa, starstruck.
So actually, that reminds me, there are two. I was only thinking of one at first, but now that you say that, I realized when I was like super into performing arts and I was reading like a lot of performing arts research, there was Dr. I'm going to mess up his name. Jayton, I think, Ambekongar.
Yes.
His last name is super long. It's literally on every performing arts research article you could ever find. And I was going to a performing arts, like one of those rapid fire presentations. Yeah. And he was like one of the main people there who was like, because it was all of his students were out doing the rapid fire presentations. And he was like kind of like the moderator / like he was the go-to person because he was on all of them. And I walked up to him afterward and I was like, I've read so much of your research.
Yeah.
So much. And I guess I didn't also expect me to ever be in a place where I would see him in person.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Nice. That was really cool.
And then at CATA, which is our state conference, I met Gary Vitti.
Okay, now you're just showing off.
Well, we were at actually it wasn't at CATA, it was at Hit the Hill.
Yeah.
Which is right after. So we got paired in one of those meetings to go see legislators. And my name was like with him, and everyone kept coming up to me that day and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're with Gary Vitti?" And I had no clue who that was. But now I do.
Yes, now you do. That's still pretty cool. Hey, he still recognizes you.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good at that.
Yeah.
He is so personable.
Yeah.
So personable. Also, I think some of the coolest people we've met at a conference are all the people who recognized us.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was literally at NATA last year, the
Philly
coolest
was great.
thing ever. It was so cool meeting some of you guys.
It was cool having people out at the social too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we hosted a social.
We took over a little bit of a little corner in a bar.
A little AT corner.
A little AT corner. For AT corner. Yeah, that was fun. That was really cool. That was a cool experience.
So I did ask on our Instagram, how often do you network when you go to conferences? I mean, it's kind of, for me, it's like one of the more important things.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe some people just go to learn and then go back to their room or something.
Yeah, or whatever activities.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I did put a question up on what everyone's favorite extracurricular activities are.
Okay.
I didn't look at them though, so maybe we'll have to look at them later. So the options I put were like, it was a slider, so I had like none. And then I put like only when others talk to me, and then some, and then I meet everyone. And I was actually kind of surprised. More people were, I mean, the slider was more towards the end of like more networking. Rather than not. Yeah. So it was like in the some category.
Okay.
Which I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's good. I think a lot of it's like when you go to a conference, you see the people that you're familiar with. And then you talk to them and hang out with them. And then you never know. They might introduce you to someone you just didn't know.
Right.
So I think that's how maybe it's the some part. I definitely can't go in there and be just random, find someone, be like, "Hi."
I used to be really good at that. I don't do that much anymore.
Yes, you are good at that.
When I was like looking for a job.
Yeah, you're a lot better at that than I am. But yeah, no, it's usually when I see someone I know.
Yeah. You know what? I gotta say, I think that's probably why I was expecting it to be less, because I feel like people are very comfortable in their comfort zones.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, I see these people. I'm going to go catch up with these people who I already know.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely, I've seen it too. Some people that are super comfortable just going up to someone totally random and be like, hey, I'm so-and-so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. That's an awesome skill to have.
Mm-hmm. So I did ask in our Facebook group asking about how people network.
Yeah.
And Meghan M said, say yes to the opportunity. Feeling uncomfortable isn't a reason not to attend the dinner or event. Go to the conference. Go to the alumni party with a colleague. Go to the vendor event. Listen to the people you meet. Say yes when someone puts your name forward. Then, and this part's important.
Yes.
Follow up. Root for them in their wins. Help them with a favor. Send the follow-up email.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good idea.
I like that too because I feel like it does go beyond you just meeting them.
Yes.
Like maybe, you follow them on Instagram, you follow them on LinkedIn or whatever, like whatever capacity that you meet them in and you connect, you send them an email. Like there's got to be some sort of follow-up rather than just like, hi.
Like just a meet.
Right.
I agree with just say yes to the opportunity, right? Like dive into the conference experience. It's really like obviously the content of the conference itself is really good and it's important to be there and gain new insights, gain new knowledge, but it's also the stuff that's built around the conference that matters. Like all these alumni events, the exhibitor socials, the exhibitors are in town. Like with my sales rep, we're trying to work out lunch currently, but we're working on that. But that's kind of like what it's like at a conference. Like, oh, hey, it's my sales rep. Hey, what are you doing tonight? Hey, let's go get dinner. Right? Like all that's built around the conference. So it's all a really good opportunity to build those relationships.
Right. That's what's also crazy to me is like, and that's how we got sick. Like just getting run down. It's literally like we get up the early in the morning for a conference and then
stay up really late.
You stay up really late.
Hey, that is the true measure of being an athletic trainer at a conference is if
has your sports season prepared you.
Yes, that you can be at the socials late at night and still make it to that 7 a.m. talk. That's toughness right there.
Yeah. Grit.
That's grit.
So we got another one from Cassie C. She said, don't hold back. Put yourself out there. Take risks. I have made great connections through social media and interacting with people in settings I'm interested in. I try to get email addresses as often as I can, and I'm not afraid to ask questions. Most people who have climbed the ladder of success are happy to share their experiences. Using alumni is huge too.
Oh, big time.
People love to talk about themselves. They do.
That's true.
You just have to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
We should put in our Facebook group maybe what questions to ask when you're networking.
It's a good question of the week.
Or like have your first of all have your elevator speech.
Yeah.
And then second of all have questions ready. So like when I was really interested in an NFL internship, you have to seek out like what you're looking for. So like I knew Gatorade was having the first females, the first NFL females, they did a talk. And so I went and I sat front row. And then after the talk, like I beelined it to someone who was of importance. And then I just asked them like how they got into their position and if they have any advice for someone who wants to be in their position. And then, all the people there were people who I had already known.
Yeah.
And so like I made sure to stand by them. And so then they would see me and be like, oh, hey, like, and then maybe they would introduce me to someone else who I don't know. And, so like you have to first of all seek out the areas that you're interested in.
Yeah. And
then because that's where the people are going to be who you want to talk to.
Yeah.
And then once you find that out, then you can kind of like, okay, so I'm going to, introduce myself to these people here and maybe like either just ask their advice or ask them like what brought them to their position now or what their journey looked like or something along the lines that is helpful.
Yeah, 100%. And, Cassie brings up a good point about social media. I feel like that's a less intimidating and formal way to follow up your connections or make a connection with someone as opposed to like doing like an email or something. So that's a good point about the social media. I mean, most people now have some form of social.
And some people are big on social media.
Oh yeah, big time.
We have a lot of people who we met first through social media, and then when we got to NATA, we like we connected, and I was like, "Oh, give me your Instagram handle. I know everything about you."
You know, that I do have to say that was probably the coolest thing for us. You know, we've connected with a lot of people through social media, and to finally meet them in person, like it was kind of a cool experience.
I mean, through these story episodes, there are some people who I message back and forth a lot.
Yeah,
and I had never met in person.
Yeah. It was nice to put a face to the name, or
absolutely
an actual person.
Right, right. I think even in your alumni events, like those people are going to be super familiar, but there's always going to be someone who someone else can introduce you to.
Oh, absolutely.
One of my mentors always used to say, you know, there's 6 degrees of separation in like the world, but in athletic training there's like 2 degrees of separation. Yeah. So like if you don't know that person, there's someone who knows them, or someone you know who knows someone who knows them.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so easy to figure out.
100%.
Especially if you ask the ATs who have been around.
Oh yeah.
They know everyone.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
So this next story is actually really interesting because it's about volunteering.
Oh, awesome.
So Maddy S says, I don't know anybody going to NATA this year, so I'm volunteering. It's a good way to get me out of my comfort zone and meet people. I'm also going to go to the baseball fundraiser, so I'm going to go to the events provided. So I looked into this because I've heard of people volunteering, but I didn't actually...
It's a good time.
Yeah. Oh, you volunteered?
I've volunteered at NATA.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and technically we have as moderators.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but as far as like the... man, moderating is so scary.
What are you talking about? It's fun.
You have to say like 5 words, but it's terrifying.
Most of it's scripted out for you anyways.
I know. I don't know. It's just scary. I mean, that's part of getting out of your comfort zone, right?
Yep.
So I was looking at like what NATA costs, and if you're looking at like a certified member, it costs around $350 to $500 for the conference alone.
Yeah. And
volunteering can actually reduce it by a lot.
Yeah, 100%. And you know how I know some people kind of get worried with like, okay, yeah, the more you volunteer, right, the cheaper it's going to be, but then you're like, oh well, I'm missing sessions, you know, depending on what shift you should sign up for. What I did when I volunteered was, because I signed up for the shift to help with the registration. I did that first day where there's like only like the pre-conference, like all the pre-conference workshops and stuff. So there's no programming like from the conference, you know, because the pre-conference you have to pay for, like pre-register. It's an addition. So there's no like programming from the conference itself. So I spent most of that day volunteering, helping with setting up registration, helping with the registration process, and that you could take a chunk of hours out of.
Right. Well, you need to have at least 10 hours to get like a discount.
Yeah.
And I was looking, it says 10 plus hours is a 25% reduction of cost.
Which is cool.
And then if you do 20 plus hours, it's 50.
Yeah.
And then if you, I mean, it just keeps going up from there. You can get 100% if you do it all.
Yes. Yeah. And, you know, volunteering is a great way because, you know, the amount of work that goes into a conference.
I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. At NATA, that thing is like...
Yeah. So...
next level.
You know, the volunteers that help with the logistics of it really makes the conference. Like, it really makes a big deal. And, you know, everyone's working their hardest and trying their best to make a really cool experience. So volunteering is awesome. I had a great time with it, and it is a great way to meet people, especially if you do sign up for registration. You're all packing bags with everybody. It was fun.
You know what I was thinking too is I think volunteering now is you're gonna miss a lot less than previously because a lot of the things double on VNATA because they have the virtual on demand.
Oh yeah, that's true. Now. The on demand, yeah.
So if you'll actually sit down and watch them, like
it's always easier because you're like, oh, it's on demand. I can do it. I can do it whenever. And then you're like, oh, I can do this later. I gotta do this. I gotta do this one thing now. And then it just all of a sudden, then it's tomorrow's the deadline. I gotta bang through these.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's true. I didn't think of that. You're right. That could make volunteering a little bit easier.
Right. So actually this kind of leads into the next topic, is picking between two different lectures when two that you're interested in are at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of got 3 top answers. Okay. One of them is find out if one's being recorded.
That's that's true.
Right, because
we used that last time at NETA.
Yeah, that's what I did. Because there was one, we had just gotten a full-time strength coach at my college, mm-hmm. and I really wanted to go to that one, but that one was going to be on demand.
Yeah.
And there was something else like at the same time. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But I went to the other one instead, and I was like, oh, I'll watch this on demand later.
Yeah.
It worked. Best of both worlds. What would you do?
I think what I try to do is, so when I was a student, I always did the one that sounded really cool to me, mm-hmm. what I was really interested in. Mm-hmm. But then you end up kind of going to the same ones over and over.
Oh, I didn't think about that. You're right.
So I what I'm trying to do now is pick the topic that I'm like, I need. If it is something that I'm like, oh, this is really interesting, but I need help with it, like obviously I'm picking that one. But right. like I try to pick the ones. Okay, what could I get better at? Mm-hmm. What do I need? Where do I need to improve? And then go with that. That
was also one of our top answers. Yeah. Like the least familiar topic or like the weaker area, so you can improve.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, hey, okay, how can I be a better clinician? What am I lacking? How can I be better?
I really liked that I saw that as like a lot of people answered that one.
Another thing too is I try to pick, okay, what's the hot topic? Mm-hmm. Right? What's something that it's coming? This is coming. Mm-hmm. What do I need?
You're going to need to know about.
Yeah, what am I going to need to know about this, and how can I stay ahead of the curve, right? Like mental health, right? Obviously still a big topic, but in the years prior, mm-hmm. like it was a hot topic and a lot of content was coming out. And, within the athletic setting, we know this is getting on our plate now. Mm-hmm. So definitely trying to get into those and like, okay, get an idea of, okay, where are we heading with this?
Right. Actually, that leads into the third top answer. Most applicable to my current setting.
Yes.
So if you are really interested in blood flow restriction, but maybe you're at like a high school where you don't do that much rehab, for example.
Yeah.
Then maybe you don't go to that one.
Yeah.
Or like if it's conflicting with something that's like directly high school related, or
absolutely.
If there's something like drug testing, and like my college doesn't do that really, so maybe I wouldn't, even though like that is I've never done that, that is my weaker topic.
It's as much fun as you could imagine.
You want to pick something that's most applicable.
Yeah. You just get to sit there and watch people pee. It's a fun
time. There's also lectures and learning labs, and so you have to take that into account. So, hopefully you're not doing a learning lab on drug testing.
That'd be interesting. Hey, we did. Well, minus the watching people pee, we didn't do that part. But obviously, we did not necessarily drug testing, but hydration testing. We used our own urine. So kind of like that. Yeah, be an interesting learning
lab. Everyone go pee in a cup and come back.
We would all get to figure out, okay, who had a little too much fun at the social.
Yes. So I did ask if people preferred lectures or learning labs. 82% of people said they preferred learning labs.
Oh, I could see that. I think a lot of people like to do things and work with their hands.
Right. Which I also feel like when you do something in a learning lab, it's way easier to make it more applicable than it is to take a lecture and make it applicable. There are certain things that you're just going to discuss, like let's say a dermatological condition. It's not like you're going to be like, I have a bunch of skin here with, like, you know what I mean? Like,
where are we going with this lab? Lab's kind of scary.
That's what I'm saying. Like, some things have to be lectures.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think that people prefer learning labs because it is more applicable. And that's actually part of the reason why we started this podcast, is because we felt like we wanted to make things applicable.
Yeah.
When you go to a conference, they just talk about things, and then you go back and you're like, it's cool we talked about it, but I'm not going to change anything.
Yeah.
So
Or you got to really sit there and try and digest what you heard at the conference. Whereas, like you said, like we were trying to help with that digestion for you.
Right. And kind of make something like that you can take away.
Yeah, 100%.
Which we do have. I think I put it at the end. Yeah, I put it at the end for things that people actually have taken away from a conference.
Yes, yeah.
So I did want to talk about like some of the different types of presentations though, because it's not just lectures and learning labs.
No, yeah, there's definitely different lingo and different styles of presentation.
Well, because I think also like people get lost in like it's so easy to attend the lectures and learning labs.
Yes.
That I think the rapid fire presentations, like the poster presentations, there are even some presentations in the expo that I think people miss out on.
Yes, they do.
Which those ones you're like, so like Gatorade sometimes has like a booth where they have presentations.
Oh, they have much more than a booth. They have like
this whole center of the expo hall.
Yeah. Yeah, they have this ginormous set. They even have seats, screens.
Right. So I think one of the biggest things that I do when I first look at an itinerary is I look at all the topics first, and then I look at what kind of presentation they are. So like, have you been to a rapid fire presentation?
Not lately. When I was a student, I did.
Yeah, I did more when I was a student too.
Yeah.
Because those are basically like poster presentations, but they're like little mini topics. They're like 5 minutes, right?
I mean, if you're going for like content really quick and a lot of content, the rapid fire ones are really good.
What I find is helpful for the rapid fire ones is like if you're looking for a certain topic, or if you're looking to network with those people, because they're all in one room.
Yeah, that's true.
All the people who are talking about that certain topic, all in one place.
Yeah.
So you can't really go wrong if you're looking to find out more information or something about them.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So I think that's what the rapid fire presentations are helpful for me. I find that I haven't like there's a lot more like case studies or like stuff like that it's cool and good to listen to, but like if I was trying to figure out if I was going to go to like a rapid fire versus a learning lab, probably pick the learning lab because it's more applicable. Same thing with like poster presentations, like a lot of times there are case studies, which like case studies are super important, but they're just not as applicable as, I mean, you have one person and you dedicate all your time, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
And then I feel like the expo, you just have to go to the expo and figure out what is there.
Yeah, that's very true. Which, I mean, the expo's great.
It is. It is great.
I love the expo.
I feel like
it's always tough, though, because, like...
I know, it's like during
sessions, I'm like, dang it. I mean, it is...
Last time we almost didn't have enough time for the expo.
Oh, I know.
We almost didn't go to the expo last time.
But we did.
We did.
We got there.
We did.
The next time we go, we have a better game plan.
Do we?
Yes.
We won't be at NATA this year.
Unfortunately. Bummed
We're
out.
really sad about it.
Yeah. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
We
gotta see our peeps.
I know. I heard Candid's going.
Yes, that's right.
They told us they're trying to get some people together, but
nice.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? I also put in here for morning and afternoon lectures, like what people prefer.
Yeah.
I was very, 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 very extremely surprised that 80% of people preferred early lectures.
Interesting.
I think some people are lying. Because when I and I do this on purpose, I moderate the 7:30 a.m. sessions.
Why?
Because no one's going to show
up. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a morning person to begin with. I mean, I don't know. I get up for the morning ones. Mm-hmm. I like the morning ones.
I like the morning ones.
I mean, 80%
of people like the morning.
Yeah, I wouldn't oppose. I mean, I'm literally at the conference all day, so like, I don't know. I'm doing both, but I don't know. Like, I would like the opportunity to sleep in, but
right. Yeah, that is interesting. Like, they do really pack it in.
Oh gosh, it's literally 7 to 5 every day.
So we have two. Someone, Sarah Y said, when attending NATA, I typically go for the morning lectures. That way I am done by noon and can enjoy and / take in the city where the conference is being held.
That's cool too.
And then Maddie R said, I love sleep,
And
but for a conference, I'll wake up just so I can have the evening free to go out with friends and other socials.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I would say to Sarah Y, I mean, that's, again, networking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go, enjoy, take in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Maddie. I love sleep.
Yeah, I like that one because I mean, I think like we were saying, for conferences, you literally like wake up at the crack of dawn to go to a morning session.
You gotta look nice.
That's what I was just about to say.
You gotta look presentable.
You can't just like roll out of bed. Like you have to.
You have some effort
right
into this. And
then you go to sessions all day, and then you go out all night, and you do it again.
And rinse and repeat.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Until the end of the week when you're dead tired.
And then everyone
sleep on the plane.
You see everyone at the airport with their conference t-shirts dragging.
Oh, they didn't do conference t-shirts last time, did they?
No.
Dang.
Hopefully it's coming back.
Hopefully.
NATA, please. The t-shirts were lit. I love my NATA t-shirts.
I know. You do. Where's yours?
I'm a big fan. That's my alternative because it's perfect for work when the laundry's getting a little low.
Oops, sorry.
No, I'm just saying it works out perfect. And it's a good undershirt.
So I did put together a list of conference must-haves that people submitted.
Okay.
So first one goes along hand in hand with networking.
Okay.
Business cards.
Oh, of course.
Which even if I think now you can kind of get away without having a business card.
Yeah.
Because you can connect on so many different ways, like social media, or you can just write down your email or something like that. Especially, this is something like I was concerned about as a new AT. Like, I don't have like a stable job yet. I don't want to like put my, I don't want to buy business cards and then I guess you could just buy generic ones, but
it's not the same.
No,
it's not the same as having a logo.
I know. Your name tag is a perfect place to store your business cards.
Yes, that's true.
Because you always have your name tag on you.
Yeah.
Comfortable shoes is another one.
Oh, big must.
Which we're just going to... This is not sponsored, obviously, but Cole Haan is what Randy and I wear.
Oh, I love them.
They're made with like a rubber sole, like they're dress shoes with a rubber sole. Wonderful. Never going back.
Game
Actually,
changer.
also I have flats that I never ever wear, but I don't know why, because they're so soft. They're like Dr. Scholl's.
Oh, okay.
And those are really comfy too. But nice. I mean, just ditch the shoes that are uncomfortable. Yeah. Like not worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, people show up in like Nikes.
Yeah.
If you have nice shoes, go comfort.
Yeah, go comfort. Go comfort.
You walk all over the place at a conference.
Yes, you do.
Snacks are a must.
Big time. It's a long day.
Are a must, especially the ones that you can sneak in lectures.
Also, lunch. Make sure to cut time for lunch.
Yes.
Hey, again, perfect networking opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what you got going on? We've grab some lunch real quick?
We did that with I did a performing arts conference, and someone was there who had started her own business.
Yes, that's right.
And so I just went up to her and I was like, hey, I would really love to pick your brain on how you started your own business within the performing arts world. And she was like, yeah. And she was like, what are you doing right now? And I was like, nothing. Actually, Randy had just showed up. And I was like, oh, like I was just going to go home. But, and she's like, oh, well, do you want to go grab a bite to eat? And I was like, yes. So then I literally picked her brain. And at the end, like she sent me all of her documents, all of the things that help prevent liability, all of the like setup information, all of the like anything that you can imagine that she had, like she was so willing to just send to me.
That's awesome.
And we're still connected to this day. Like I invited her to our wedding.
Yeah. And
I mean, she's out doing like crazy cool Cirque du Soleil things out in another country, but yeah. It's good to connect with people.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. 100%. So lunch is a perfect way to do that. Coffee in the morning. Just be careful of the lines. A lot of people message me about the lines.
Especially The biggest one was Vegas NATA, because where they do the conference, as you walk to the convention center,
there was a Starbucks.
There's a Starbucks.
Yep.
You can't pick that Starbucks unless you're there super early.
Honestly, you would probably be better off going to a further Starbucks
than waiting at that. That line
the amount
was
of time
insane.
that it would take you to get to the further Starbucks.
Oh, yeah.
And order and come back would be faster than the time you getting in that line.
Yeah. 100%.
Easily. A lot of people wrote extra space in suitcase for expo goodies.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Because you never know. Like, some things you're going to get for free. Some things you're going to buy. You're also going to get a lot of papers.
A lot of papers. Sometimes it's good, though. It's a good reminder.
Speaking of papers, this one I actually thought was interesting. There was a big split on whether people take notes on an iPad or on a notebook.
I am a notebook person. I have to do hand notes. I can't do digital notes.
You know, I kind of stopped taking notes.
Okay, here comes the hot take. Here we go.
Here's the hot take.
Here's the hot take.
If they have the presentation that is downloadable, first of all, I download it as soon as I can.
Oh yeah,
now they're usually available like for the they used to be available only after.
Yeah,
but now
some of them put them on there pretty early.
Right. So now, like, I usually check and make sure that they're up. If they are up, I'm not taking notes. And if I am taking notes, then
you're taking mental notes.
Because you know what? One, when am I ever going to go back to those notes? I'm serious. I haven't gone back to any of my conference notes. But you know what I do go back to? I go back to the PowerPoints.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
And if I am going to listen, I want to actively listen.
Yeah.
And like pay attention. Yeah. I realize that there's not much like that I would write down that I can't look back up.
Yeah.
So I haven't really found like, I mean, I know it helps some people. Like, obviously everyone's different. I'm not telling you stop taking notes, people.
No, this is your hot take. This is your chance.
No, I mean, seriously. I do have a notebook with me, like, just in case. Yeah. But I found that I haven't really... I'm trying to think of NATA last year. Like, I don't think I really have much on it. I don't think I even opened it.
Yeah, I go back into my conference notes, usually within the year. Like, I haven't went back to, like, a conference, like, a few years ago and looked back at the notes, but...
You know what I do write down? Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. I do write down, like, websites or links.
Yeah.
That I'll, like, go back to.
I was just going to say, one thing that I like to do, this is a good tip for everybody. A lot of times in these lectures, right, like, they're going to point out a certain research article that's, like, really good to whatever topic they're doing, or like certain, like, sometimes, like, depending on the style of presentation, they'll put the article up of, like, the evidence.
Oh, right.
I jot that down so then I can look at the article myself later.
See, that's
background info.
That's all in things that they upload.
Yeah.
And by the time that you're spending writing, you are not listening to them.
No, I feel it though.
No.
Yeah, I feel it. You're telling me no to my feeling? That makes no sense. When I write it, I feel it in me.
Okay.
So yeah, hey, that's a good tip right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just like to not miss what they're actually talking about.
I got it.
Last thing people wrote is electrolytes. A lot of people wrote electrolytes.
Well, good thing Gatorade has their booth.
Right.
Hey, that's free product right there.
You know, I didn't see anyone write this. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't put it in the top answers. But something that we always bring is a sleeve of bagels for breakfast.
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
And
peanut butter.
Usually you don't have time in the morning. Like, if you're trying to go to the 7:30 a.m. session, like, you're not getting up for breakfast. If you're getting Starbucks, like, sure, you're great, wonderful. But, like, bagels super easy, and we just, like, stick them in our backpack and then you eat them
You know
on
what,
the
this
way,
year?
or you eat them in the session. Hopefully not, but
This year I just found Uncrustable.
see, that could be your conference breakfast
Exactly.
snack.
That's a game changer now.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I just found out that these are amazing.
I've been telling you for years, but
Well, I thought I didn't like jelly.
you're welcome.
I do like jelly now, apparently.
See, this is on record.
It's out there now. This is for the world to hear.
Okay, finally, the good stuff. This is like action item.
So the rest wasn't that great.
No, this is like for real life. This is like
The action
I
item.
left this action item
Okay.
at the end because this is the real. If you go to a conference, what's the point of a conference other than keeping up your CUs?
To change your practice or improve your practice.
100%.
Be a better athletic trainer than you were yesterday.
Are there any talks that come to mind immediately when you're like, man, I went to this talk and it really changed my practice?
It's all the vestibular rehab stuff.
Oh, really?
Yep, a lot of that.
I remember going to those, but I don't think I changed anything.
Yeah. And the concussion talks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to, instead of just sitting there waiting and resting, okay, what can we do rehab wise to better the concussion outcome? And then also like a lot of the data kind of driven ones, like the patient reported outcome stuff. That kind of gets my brain thinking, and I like to implement that in my practice, especially for the ones that come in with a pre-existing history of injuries. I like to get a quote-unquote baseline of function on them.
You do bring up a really good point about what gets you thinking, because I gotta say, not every lecture, and I say lecture because learning labs are a little bit, we already talked about those, but not every lecture are you going to be able to walk away and say, I am a changed clinician because of this. However, certain things you're going to be like, wow, I never thought about that.
Yep.
And that has a lot of importance too.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
I still remember I went to this talk that I know I have talked about on the podcast multiple times, and it changed how I work with students.
Yeah.
It changed how I work with my athletes. It changed how I am a patient myself and go see other providers. But it was a talk by Dr. Rubin, a prodigy physician in Southern California, and he talked about, it was called The Lost Art of Listening.
Yep.
And I still have the slides, which I do reference, by the way. And he literally talked about how we as athletic trainers, healthcare professionals, physicians, whoever you go see, nurses, don't listen to our patients.
Yeah, I've seen this definitely within like medicine.
And I think I look at this all the time. I should know this stat by now. But I think it said on average, it took about 18 seconds before someone was interrupted.
Yeah.
I think that was...
Yeah, something like that.
And we miss out so much. And it said, I think, again, like, I need to go back. But I'm pretty sure it said that if we let them talk, most people were done within a minute and a half.
Nice.
So you're not wasting that much time by letting your patient... You're not wasting time.
Yeah.
I think that's so important, and it's literally like every single person I work with.
Yeah.
I think about this.
Oh, 100%.
Every single time I'm taking a history.
Yeah.
And this is years later. Like, because I took this...
You were a student.
I was a student. So I want to say it was at least 7+ years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Just, like, nothing compares to it.
Yeah.
The Lost Art of Listening. And I thought, I was hoping that someone recorded it because I would totally like show it to everyone, but I haven't. I've looked for a recording and I haven't found anything.
Mm-hmm.
So Catherine G said, at NATA in 2019, I went to a talk on Achilles injury treatment and rehabilitation. It was presented by a UNC professor. From that, I now have a detailed protocol on it. Before, I had a very basic protocol from Prentice, but this one was so detailed and had my favorite starting point, toe yoga.
Yeah.
They had a great template protocol with goals and phases, plus some example exercises.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love the example exercises.
I do too.
Because
usually they're like, oh, you just do some glute.
Yeah. But if you don't know what does that,
right,
or what's a cool exercise for it, then you're like,
right.
I don't know.
You're like, I could have told you I was going to do core and glute anyway.
Yeah. So I do like the example exercises.
Right.
And then that's when you see people in the lecture trying to do it themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. You're like, oh, wait, someone's trying to get the exercise down.
There was one on like golf.
Oh my gosh. Yep. I remember that one.
Everyone was trying their golf swing.
Yep.
You know what's another talk is the dental talk. We talk about I think we've talked about this in the last few episodes.
That was a good talk though. It was a good talk.
We changed our practice from the dental talk.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That was a good talk.
Also, you know what was very applicable was, you were talking about the vestibular rehab.
Yes.
Remember when we went to all those vertigo talks and the learning labs?
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it is, guys. NATA and conferences do not treat me very well. I became a train wreck. Like I've had, I think I've passed 2 kidney stones at a conference, and I think I've had vertigo twice from a conference.
Yes. Yeah.
Twice?
Yes. The New Orleans was the worst.
Oh yeah, New Orleans was bad. It was like after the conference, even for a week. Yeah. It was bad. And then this latest NATA, it was during the freaking conference. Like the entire time. I thought everything was moving. But we went to a session on vertigo. Yeah. And how to treat it. Or actually, was it treat?
Both.
It was
evaluation and treatment.
Right. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you can practice on me because I'm dealing with that right now. And then this one also, so we started with a gem from Jen and we're ending with a gem from Jen.
Great way to close it.
Right. An AT friend of mine attended one of the learning labs on back pain. I was having trouble with my back at the time. She learned some practices and almost instantly she made me feel tons better by showing me the techniques that she learned.
That's awesome. Right? That's the best part about the learning labs.
Right. We did this one.
Cervical spine manipulations.
It was not cervical spine manipulations.
It was yeah. Well, wait, where are you going?
It was, well, there was a cervical and a thoracic, but they were mobilizations first, and then they did go into manipulations. Yeah. But it wasn't like centered on that.
No.
Because we only did one cervical manipulation, I think. Everything was mostly a mobilization. The thoracic we did more.
Yeah, thoracic we did more. Yes. Yeah, the rest were kind of, you're right. Cervical was mostly, there was only one no, there were 2. It was just focused on one joint. It was C71. But there were different techniques for it. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
And I remember apparently I was just popping that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there was one that you didn't even actually do the manipulation.
Oh, yeah.
You just set me in the position.
Just took out the slack.
And it went.
Mm-hmm. So some things that other people have learned from conferences that they had mentioned were someone said improved communication, which is really good. That's like a soft skill.
Yeah, for sure.
I think is really cool. Like, I mean, what we were talking about, like the listening, like that's a soft skill. Something that I'm not like going out and being like, okay, I know how to place my hand in this certain position so I could do this technique.
Yeah.
From the expo, someone said ordering different supplies based on vendor recommendations. You know, every time I go to order, I'm like, I wish I was at the expo right now. I'm doing that right now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
seriously.
Dang it, I wish I saw this in person. Someone had an MLB pre and post throwing protocol for baseball pitchers.
Nice, that's awesome.
And then someone said my whole understanding of pain and how I choose treatments based off of it.
Nice.
So those are a lot, like, very broad.
Yeah, for sure.
And those are just some of the things that people had submitted that, that have changed their practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot, like, I gotta say, going to a conference is a lot different than going to a course.
Yes, yeah.
If you're looking to completely add something into your arsenal and just change your practice and really learn something and go in depth with something, I would say take a course, like take a manual therapy course.
But you also got to remember that's going to be focused on one thing.
One thing.
Like one aspect.
Right. Whereas I feel like conferences kind of give you the stepping stones to figure out what courses you want to take.
Yeah. And it gives you more variety of topics. And also there's the networking aspect.
Right.
Like, yes, you can network in a course, but I feel like the opportunities for networking are going to be a lot larger at a conference.
Yes, but I feel like with the course, you're spending so much time with 1 or 2 or 3 people.
Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because, like, we've gone to courses where there's, like, 20 people.
Yes.
And it's been, like, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And you're just literally around the same people, like, all the time, so you get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think we covered a lot as far as conferences.
For sure. Absolutely.
I think we hit everything we said we were going to hit.
I think so. I think you're right.
Was there anything that you felt like we left out?
No, I think we pretty much touched on the conference atmosphere.
Yes. So if you are not able to attend a conference this year, but you would still like CUs, we have some on our podcast. Make sure you scroll down to the show notes because we have information more on our website. So you can look out every other episode we do as education or stories. So this one is a story episode. Next week we're going back to our education, where sometimes we do CUs, sometimes we do interviews, sometimes we do other things. So just kind of pay attention to that. If you would like to submit your story for a future episode, you can do so on Instagram. You can do so in our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/AT Corner Podcast. Or you can just honestly scroll down to our show notes. We have it's getting pretty long now, but we have all of the information down there for everything that we do here. And if there's any topics that you guys would like to hear, send them our way. If you're going to be out in Texas, come say hi.
Say what's up.
We can't wait to see you. We're so excited. We're also an affiliate of MedBridge, so if you would like $150 off your subscription, your 1-year subscription of CEUs on demand, you can use code ATCorner at checkout. Again, down in the show notes. I think that's all I have.
Yep. Thank you for helping us showcase athletic training behind the tape. Bye.